This video is sponsored by Marvel Rivals.
Gambit never folds!
I think I just got me a full set.
You see, what happened was, I saw Rogue in that outfit, and I folded. I folded so fast. Gambit sometimes folds. Rogue is the newest Vanguard that came in the second half of Season 5, and she's exactly what fans wanted, with her thick Southern accent and classic costume design. But the day before she dropped, Marvel Rivals announced that a certain merc with the mouth would be coming, which was super hyped. But he ain't here yet, and we're talking about Rogue here, so get out of here. Go on, get. We'll talk about you next season. So before I teach you how to play Rogue, let's talk about her comic book history, shall we? Rogue debuted not in X-Men, but actually in an Avengers comic, Avengers Annual number 10. Her mutant superpower is that she can absorb the memories and powers of anyone through physical touch, with the downside that it also drains away their life force. Her full name is actually unknown, but her first name is Anna Marie, and she was born in Mississippi to hippie parents, who she ended up rebelling against and ran away, earning the nickname Rogue. And as a runaway, she was found by Mystique, who took her in and became kind of like a surrogate mother to her. However, her mutant powers manifested when she was a teenager, kissing her date and putting him in a coma, while also gaining his memories, which was pretty traumatic for her. So Mystique helped Rogue understand how to use her powers. But even after having more control of her powers, Rogue felt like she would never lead a normal life. So she joined Mystique in committing crimes alongside the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Wait, they actually call themselves evil? That can't be right. Oh wow, yeah they did. Now it's just the Brotherhood of Mutants because they're not all evil and it's more nuanced, they're just misunderstood. Anyways, at one point she ends up permanently stealing Miss Marvel's powers and memories, and that also put Miss Marvel in a coma. And that's why Rogue is so incredibly strong all the time. But she was tired of being unable to control her powers and seek the help of Charles Xavier, which helped her reform and later become a permanent member of the X-Men, where she would meet the love of her life, Remy, aka Gambit. And they have an on-again, off-again, on-again type relationship that spans so many comic runs. In one of their off-again phases, Magneto saves her life, and she ends up falling in love with Magneto for a little bit, until she witnesses him do some evil stuff. So yeah, a lot of people would prefer to forget this whole love triangle situation, because Magneto is canonically so old. Also in the comics, Nightcrawler is technically like a brother to her, and they're very close, and I do hope that Nightcrawler ends up in Marvel Rivals, because I've always loved Nightcrawler. But in the Marvel Rivals timeline, she does finally marry Gambit, and their marriage was about to happen until a time stream entanglement crashed their wedding, taking away her ring, which is where we are still in Season 5. And you may be wondering, how does Deadpool fit in all of this? Wait a minute, did you change my script? Hey, go away, you're too early, go! So that's a little bit of Rogue's comic book history. And now that you know a little bit about her, let's finally learn how to play her. Rogue is a melee Vanguard, and similar to the Thing and the Hulk, her main weapon is her fists, the Power Surge Punch. She attacks with 2 quick strikes and 1 stronger, longer final blow that deals more damage. And all of these punches have deceptively long ranges, up to 3 meters, so she actually can punch as big as the big boys too. These punches do a decent chunk of damage and are great for securing kills on enemies who can't escape your melee range.
No, you ain't getting away. You ain't getting away, boy.
No, man. We're bullying this Bruce Banner.
You ain't getting away, boy.
We bullied him. But the rest of Rogue's kit is there to help close the gap between her and enemies, starting with her first ability, Fatal Attraction. This ability dashes Rogue forward and releases a burst of power in a ring. And then when you want to, you can release the power from the ring, pulling enemies towards Rogue. So on top of being really great mobility to close the gap, you can pull enemies towards you, which will put them right in punching range for Rogue, allowing you to secure a nice kill. Since the ring does continuous damage, you can sometimes just get a kill with that by itself. But it's overall just a great tool for keeping enemies clustered for your team to clean them up and win a team fight. Now in the comics, Rogue can fly, and in this game, she can sort of fly with her next ability, Chrono Kick Combo. You dash forward, kicking up any enemy hit by it, then fly up in the air where your next 2 punches will be kicks that also unleash projectiles. You can fly for up to 3 seconds, then you can choose to slam down on enemies, dealing damage in a decent radius. And even if you're done flying, the next 2 kicks will still have that ranged effect, which is kind of a nice perk. Now this is Rogue's only true ranged attack, and even then it still doesn't have that much range, but when you do land it from afar, it feels fantastic. Oh yeah, I got the range kick kill. I got the clip. You can use it to hit opponents in the air who think they're safe from your punches. They're not safe. The vertical movement is great for taking control of the high ground from opponents. And the slam can be the damage that you need to secure a kill on a weakened enemy.
Save some of them for me, Rogue.
But Rogue is a Vanguard, so what defensive options does she have? Well, I'm glad you asked, because her next ability is Defensive Stance. This acts as a mini shield in front of Rogue, reducing most of the incoming damage, and then powering up a shield bash called Southern Brawl. So the more damage you block, the stronger the shield bash becomes. Unlike most traditional shields in Marvel Rivals, this shield doesn't have a normal health pool, and will deplete after a few seconds, regardless if anyone is even hitting it. And the shield bash is one of 3 dashes that you have. Rogue is just all dashes. But this one has the shortest cooldown, so you'll be using this to move around the most. You'll use it to get in and close the gap, or just to get out and survive. And when paired with the shield, you can actually block a ton of damage. One time I blocked an entire Iron Man ultimate, so yeah, I guess that's a thing you can do. And the damage the shield bash itself can do is nothing to scoff at. It can easily lead to kills. Now her final ability is what I was most excited about in her kit, Ability Absorption. This has Rogue dash at an enemy, then suck out their life force, granting her one of their abilities temporarily. This means you can full on steal other people's abilities, from Emma's Diamond Form to Cloak's Bubble. And on top of that, she will also do her best impression of the voice lines, even the ones in different languages, which is super funny in her southern accent.
Sayonara. 抱怨受益.
There's also an added bonus effect depending on the class of the enemy that you steal from. Supports give you self-healing, and you reduce the amount of healing that they do. Damage heroes give you a damage boost, and you decrease their damage output, and Vanguards give you 125 extra health, and you reduce their maximum health as well. Now, not every character gives her an ability. A lot of the characters on this roster technically don't have powers to give, so for the ones that don't give you anything, this ability will instead refresh her Fatal Attraction ability. So knowing which characters do that is important, because you can go in with the Fatal Attraction, then absorb the enemy, and then Fatal Attraction again, which can lead to nice kills. And I'll go over every ability you can steal and even put them in a little tier list for you in the pro tips section. Just be patient. But now, her ultimate, Heartbreaker. This ultimate releases in an 8-meter radius, and anyone caught in it will take 15 health a second. And Rogue will steal properties depending on who's in it. You'll steal up to 400 max health from Vanguards, you'll gain a 35% damage boost from damage heroes, and you'll self-heal 75 health a second from strategists. This ultimate can be nuts. With all the stat boosts gained from it, it's a lot better to use in a crowded area, especially when contesting an objective. The best combo is to use Fatal Attraction while the ultimate is active to prevent enemies from running out of the radius. It may not be the strongest ultimate, and it won't be the thing that lands kills, but it can help a ton to make you unkillable, and it can swing the round in your team's favor when used correctly. Now, while this ultimate is very similar to Daredevil's ultimate, Rogue's ultimate doesn't require line of sight to damage enemies hit by it. So even when you're being stunned, it'll still do damage to enemies. And when combined with all of your other abilities to close the gaps and chase down enemies, it can lead to you getting some nice kills back to back to back. Howdy y'all, this is Rogue speaking. I took Macro's powers, so listen to these pro tips. Number 1. Rogue is definitely more of an off Vanguard role, so she pairs well with the main tanks like Magneto, or in more dive compositions with Venom or Thor, to just beat up enemies fast. Now, she obviously teams up the best with her love, Gambit, as he grants her a team-up ability, Hearts as One. When activated, this gives her punches the ability to deal more damage and heals allies near those punches. So when enemies and teammates are all clustered up, you can keep your whole team alive while eliminating the entire enemy team. It's kinda nuts. I feel like you kind of need a Gambit on your team. He's already an insanely good strategist, but this team up is too good not to use for Rogue's overall damage output. Number 2. Rogue gets kind of hard countered by flying enemies. Sure, you can dash up there and even hit them with a flying kick, but it's overall very difficult for her to do anything about these flyers without wasting all of your cooldowns. So make sure somebody on your team can handle these flying characters, because if not, you're kind of a sitting duck and you will probably need to switch. Number 3. Here is every single ultimate that Rogue can block.
Maximum pulse!
Plasma.
Tremble before fast!
You are nothing.
Oh, I thought that list would be longer. Well, it's because rogue shields can only block projectiles, and not many ultimates are projectiles. It's a very important thing to know because I feel like a lot of noobs might try to block punches or other type of things and then just end up dying. Number 4. As I promised, here are all the abilities that rogue can steal, and I put them in a nice little tier list. Enjoy. So here is the rogue stealing tier list. All the characters you can't steal are right here in the power list section. I think Storm is a good steal. I think gaining mobility or gaining damage is always useful for a brawly tank character like Rogue. The Diamond Form is one of the best things that any tank could ask for, especially on a character like Rogue. I personally think it's one of the best things to steal as Rogue. Iron Fist is an okay steal. Having the ability to self-heal isn't bad, but it does take you out of the fight temporarily, and I think Rogue much prefers things that allow her to be more aggro. I think Spider-Man I would have preferred if you got any of his web abilities, like the ability to yoink somebody or even web away or into the fight, but instead you just get the uppercut, and the uppercut is good damage, but for how difficult it can be to pin down Spider-Man, the uppercut is a tad bit underwhelming. Stealing a Groot wall is so incredibly strong. I mentioned it before, but stealing a Groot wall can spell death for the Groot because you can just end up walling him off with his own wall. I just think it's incredibly strong for a character like Rogue because when you put a wall up like that, they can't run away from your punches, and that's nuts. Cloak and Dagger is one of the best steals as well. Stealing her best ability, which is that bubble, to heal your entire team or yourself in a pinch is actually nuts. Doctor Strange's shield is a good steal. It actually allows for Rogue to play a lot more defensively with her team, but with a character as brawly as Rogue, having the ability to kind of shield juggle for a little bit is kind of nice. Luna Snow's ice power is one of the strongest abilities in the game, so obviously when Rogue steals the freeze, it's kind of insane. Same thing goes for Mantis with her sleep. Like, come on, man, putting anyone to sleep is dumb. It's just a free kill at that point. With the Invisible Woman, you have the ability to steal her push and pull, which is a great ability. I do think it lands more in the good steal category though. I think there's slightly better options, but come on, it does benefit Rogue. Magneto's bubble is also a pretty good steal. It doesn't benefit Rogue as much as it does benefit Magneto. I think it would be a little bit better if you can also bubble one of your teammates, because that I think would give Rogue a lot more utility. I think Thor's ability that she steals is probably one of the best ones she gets because it makes her punches go stupid fast, and they have that lightning effect to them as well. So whenever you steal from Thor, I feel like you always get a kill. It's really strong. Wanda's ball that you steal, while annoying, is just okay. It doesn't really combine that well with Rogue's kit, but it's still not bad. The Hulk clap is also kind of in the same boat. It's just okay. It doesn't really do that much damage, but damage is damage in this game, so it's not bad. And the same thing goes for Hela's ball, except I think it's worse than Spider-Man's, so just okay. Now, the Human Torch is one of the hardest characters for Rogue to actually steal from, but if you do, it's probably one of the best ones because you instantly spawn a triangle of fire, and that is crazy. Let's be honest there. That's nuts. Now, getting the invisible ability from Psylocke, that's pretty nasty. I think it's pretty good, but I think the ones that belong in the best are going to be the more aggro ones, and unfortunately, it's a little bit more defensive, which is okay. You're allowed to be defensive, but that's why it's not in the best and just in good. The Thing's ability that you steal is kind of similar to Magneto's ability that you steal. It just feels a tad bit worse, so I'd probably just put it in the okay, in the bottom of okay. It's almost in the bad category, honestly. Daredevil's ability that you steal would probably be in the best category. It gives you mobility, and you can get it over and over again in that small cooldown, but if you're not landing kills with it and you're not that good, it won't actually be consistently as strong as the other abilities that you can steal. So I would put it at the top of good. Gambit's ability that you steal gives you two options, and both options are very great. And with Gambit being so prominent, you're probably going to use this one a bunch. I would probably put it at the bottom of best steals. It's really strong and has a lot more versatility. Now, Blades, I think it might be the first one we're going to put in the bad steals. It would be in the okay to good steal if your melee attacks actually came out faster when you had the form, but otherwise you're kind of nerfing yourself because you won't get as much heals from your teammates. Yes, you can lifesteal, but because your range is nowhere near the same as Blades and the attack speed is nowhere near the same as Blades, you're not lifestealing enough to justify using it. So it ends up actually being kind of worse. So I would put it in the bad category, maybe even the somehow worse than just stealing from a character that has no steal. I realize now that this category is the same as bad, but I just wanted to be funny. So I'll just get rid of the bad. There we go. There we go. This tier list is chaotic. Stealing Jeff's ability is very similar to Cloak and Daggers, just having the bubbles on command, which gives you speed and healing on the spot. It's good. I don't know if it's as good as Cloak's, so I definitely would put it closer to the top of good steals. Now, stealing a rune from Loki, that's nuts. That's probably even better than Cloak's, so I'd put it above Cloak in the best. Magic gives you the ability to teleport and spawn a minion, which is really great for a character like Rogue who wants more mobility and wants more DPS output. So overall, one of the best ones, probably right below Human Torch. Stealing the Phoenix's fireball is also kind of nice. It gives you some range. It definitely feels feels better than the other options that are in the okay. I'd probably put it in below Psylocke in the good steals. Adam Warlock's healing output can be really strong when you steal from it, but because it doesn't have the same duration as Adam Warlock, I don't think it's nearly as good as Cloak's or Loki's. I'd probably put it in the bottom of good steals. The Squirrel Girl bounce is kind of a tad bit underwhelming. It's not the worst mobility, but I don't want Blade to be alone, so I'm gonna put it in the somehow worst. Now, getting Wolverine's passive ability, it's pretty nice. I don't think it's one of the best options, but it's pretty fun to use on a character like Rogue, so probably above Magneto in the good steals. Stealing a little turret guy doesn't really fit Rogue's playstyle, but it is not bad at all. I'd probably put it on the top of okay steals. And lastly, we got Venom with the tether. That tether actually pairs very well with Rogue's entire kit. I think it's actually one of the better steals. I'll put it on the bottom of best steals. So here is my finalized Rogue stealing tier list. All the other characters on the bottom, completely powerless or not out yet. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with this tier list. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. Overall, Rogue is a very fun Vanguard. We have a lot of close-ranged melee Vanguards, so fans of melee characters, dig in. You're gonna love Rogue. It's great that the voice actor from the original TV series is reprising her role here as well. But how is she for noobs? For noobs, I would honestly say that Rogue is pretty hard to play. Compared to the other melee Vanguards, her kit feels a lot more combo heavy, where you have to be very smart when and where you use her cooldowns. Otherwise, a lot of noobs may not get that much value out of her if they don't practice. But what do you think? Do you think Rogue is easy to play or hard to play? Do you think she's overpowered and needs nerfs or underpowered and needs buffs? Let me know in the comments down below. And as usual, if you want to see more Marvel Rivals content, let me know in the comments down below which hero I should do next. And yes, you can expect Deadpool as soon as the next season drops. I'll catch you later. Ya noob.